Okay. So, how thrilling to be here with Melissa Beste, who's reached the highest realms of the fashion industry as the global CEO of Akris, the storied fashion house with its boutiques across the US, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. In 2000, Akris had the honor of being admitted into the governing body of the French fashion industry. And I have just come back from a book tour in which I wore Akris to every darn photo shoot I had to do, and the only reason I'm not wearing it now is because it's all at the dry cleaners, except for the pants. Okay. So, Melissa, it's really great to see you today, and I really want to know, just sort of, I can't help but ask, like, how did you get there? You know, what was your sort of biggest break? How did you get up that ladder to be global CEO, and were you a fashionista as you grew up?
Thank you, Tina. It's a pleasure to be here today. My path was not particularly direct. I was planning to go to law school. I was graduating undergraduate from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I was going to take a semester off and begin law school the next fall. Through the business school, I noticed that Neiman Marcus had posted that they were coming to campus to interview for their executive development program. And just out of curiosity, I signed up. I had never been in a Neiman Marcus in my life. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin. My mother gave us $300 for back to school clothes, and I spent 4 hours at TJ Maxx sifting through every rack and trying to make the money go as far as it could and make the most interesting outfits. I made it to the second round. You go down to Dallas for 2 days of intense interviews with a group of about 20 different candidates. And I quickly realized that all the other candidates were retail majors, and most had done internships at Neiman Marcus, and I didn't know the first thing about retailing. I thought a receipt, which is your incoming inventory, was the piece of paper you got when you bought something. There were group activities, everybody was vying for the spotlight. There was math tests that I didn't understand, the acronyms. I didn't know that STD stood for season to date. I thought, why are they asking about sexually transmitted diseases? And by day 2, I simply wanted to go home because I thought I was just embarrassing myself. The last exercise, they put you in a conference room alone with a stack of data and 2 questions you had to answer at the end of 30 minutes of analyzing the data. I didn't understand the data. And I decided to leave. Picked up my handbag, walked out. I ran into an administrative assistant. She said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I'm just looking for the ladies' room." And she said, "I'll escort you there. It's not an easy place to find." I waited for 5 minutes. I come out, and she's still standing there. I couldn't escape. I called my father from the plane, and I said, not only did I not get this job, I humiliated myself. And he said, "Melissa, stick to the plan. Go to law school, get a good job, and you can buy the clothes that you want." 3 days before Thanksgiving that year, the phone rang, and it was the head of human resources, and they said, "We would love to welcome you to our executive development program."
Wow.
I was so certain they had me confused with someone else. I didn't even ask the salary. I said, "I accept." And 2 weeks later, I moved to Dallas, Texas. My journey started there, and 2 years later, I moved to Chicago. My father became very ill. I wanted to become closer to home. I worked for Calvin Klein. Then I was a merchant for Marshall Fields. My father passed away. And years later, a woman I knew through the industry called me. She lived in New York. She represented several European brands I bought, and she said, left a message. Monday morning, "Melissa, it's Michelle. I was at a cocktail party on Friday night, and I ran into Ron Frasch, the chief merchant of Saks. It's time you get out of the little leagues and move to the big leagues. I told him you're interested in this role. Call by 5 o'clock tonight. Don't disappoint me." Click.
Wow.
Called them, flew to New York that week on a Friday. Monday, they called me and said, "We'd love for you to move to New York." And I thought, I just built an apartment in New York. I'm creating my life here, or built an apartment in Chicago. I'm creating my life here. And my sister said to me, "Melissa, you're a hypocrite. You are always preaching to everyone on your team that you need to make yourself uncomfortable every day. to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you're not uncomfortable, you're standing still. And life is not about standing still. 2 weeks later, I moved to New York. I've been here 18 years this week. Various roles since Saks Fifth Avenue. I was president of US for Alexander McQueen when he was still alive. And then I became the US CEO for Akris. I knew Akris from when I was a merchant at Saks Fifth Avenue. I did that role for 5 years. Once again, another opportunity came my way that made me completely uncomfortable, a startup working for private equity, investing in a portfolio of fashion brands and leveraging executive talent across the portfolio to help young designers, because they all make the same mistakes and it's a very difficult business and most don't survive. And I heard that voice again. I'm quite comfortable, and time to shake things up and learn something new. So I left and I did it, learned a lot. And then at the end of that, the Kremler family that owns and operates Akris, 3 generations later, still friendly with them, they called me and they said, we'd like you to come back. I said, I do not believe in going back to things you've done before. I want to continue to learn and grow. And they said, well, that's why we want you to come back. We want to learn and grow too. And we want someone from outside the family to come into this C-suite role. And now I've been back 4.5 years.
Well, it's absolutely amazing. What fascinates me about this incredible zigzag is just clearly other people were seeing things in you that you didn't see. So what was so impressive about you that you got all these jobs?
I think when it comes to returning to Akris, I think it's the depth of my relationship with the family and also my understanding and respect for who they are and what they do, what makes them unique, and that they have a very clear vision about who they are and who they are not that really speaks to me. And they care about people and their connectiveness. And I think that is something that I've always held dear. Is the most important thing in my career has always been the relationships that I have built. And I think that they felt, I also was very friendly with their mother and their father before they passed away. And I think they felt that they could trust me to uphold the values of the house and the family.
Because it can be very hard as an outsider coming into a family business. And as you were talking, I was thinking about very different from running Alexander McQueen,
Yes.
which had that extraordinary sort of kind of exhibitionist out there
Amazing chaos.
DNA character, you know, I
Yes.
mean, amazing chaos into this Swiss-based, you know, far more kind of, you know, level-headed,
Yes.
more. So what was that difference? I mean, how was it, for instance, running Alexander McQueen and then the difference in going to Akris?
I was running Alexander McQueen for the U.S., not at a
Right.
global level. And it was really such a gift in my life. He was a creative genius of our times. It was theater. And it was a different business model at the time, right? The brand was the show, and the show was the brand. Mm-hmm. And you had to learn to love the chaos, but then manage the chaos. But the minute you try to temper the chaos, it's no longer McQueen.
Wow, that's a real gift to be able to figure out how to keep the sizzle and the magic while making it an orderly business.
Yes.
And what's the trick?
I think that it's creativity with boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
It's structure, unstructured structure for everyone to understand what the vision is, what the goals are. But in fashion, creativity is a must. And so there needs to be room to try new things and to fail grandly too. You know, I always say to my team today, it's the 80-20 rule. I'm very happy with 80% sell-throughs, meaning we sell 80% at regular price. And the other 20%, I hope we took major risks on. And it's with everything, every new initiative, from a business strategy perspective, we always have to try new things. And so to create a safe space for people to be creative, try new things, celebrate the successes, but also celebrate the failures because they actually tried something new.
The interesting thing about Akris, I mean, you're celebrating your 100th anniversary next year?
I'm sorry?
Is it the 100th anniversary next year of the company? That's amazing that there are still family members, who are really running it day to day. And usually these big sort of legendary epic brands, a sort of genius designer is brought in to reinvent it. And actually Akris has managed to keep its sort of heat and its global gravitas and all the rest of it without actually doing this kind of we're reinventing ourselves thing.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
I think two things. I think one, it's not Akris unless we are uncompromising about product quality, craftsmanship. So that has to say, there's nothing about that can ever change. But everything else has to change and move forward, and we have to be thinking about what's next. And Albert Kremler, our creative director, is a global citizen. He is a student of the business. He generally cares what women think as well. He knows the selling reports by style, what every garment, the way that it's sold, better than anyone in the company, better than me. I'm not ashamed to say that, because he really cares what's important to the woman. And he's inspired by, he's a modern art collector and architecture, and that's ever changing. And so if you are constantly inspired by external things, you can bring that to your work internally, and that helps with the evolution to keep things forever modern, but still timeless and elegant and Akris.
Every kind of fashion house has its kind of image of the woman they're dressing. I mean, who is the Akris woman?
The Akris woman is an independent woman with purpose. And I see the woman, she's the head of a household, she's the head of a company. She cares about quality, she cares about craftsmanship, she lives a busy life, and she needs the clothes to feel comfortable, and she needs something that makes her feel like the best version of herself. So if I speak of quality and craftsmanship, one of the key fabrications that we use is double face. It could be double face wool, double face cashmere, double face cotton, and it's essentially the two right sides of fabric put together and hand sewed. And in a way that it keeps it very light, so you don't feel like you're wearing something heavy, but Albert would say, you are wearing it after all. Why would you only want the best side of the fabric to be on the outside? It should be on your skin. And he also creates clothes with ease. Dresses with pockets, functionality, 2 coats in one, 3 coats in one, put it in the suitcase. He knows our women live very busy lives, but he also knows there's really power in putting something on that fits well, feels well, so that you feel like the very best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, of course, you're focusing on is sustainability, right? I mean, this is also now part of the ethos of Akris.
I think that sustainability is something that all industries are talking about, and it's something we will be talking about to the end of time. I don't think that there's a lot of companies making claims that they will be carbon neutral, et cetera. I think our commitment is we are committed to the journey of continuing to do better with sustainability. But it starts with Alice, who was their grandmother, who founded the company in 1922 in St. Gallen, Switzerland. She had her first son, and she decided that wasn't enough for her. She needed another challenge. She came from a family of 11 children. The oldest son inherited the sewing company, and she thought, okay, that's the way it is. I'll do my own thing. So she started a company making Swiss embroidered aprons. St. Gallen is world headquarters of embroidery and lace. In 1910, St. Gallen produced 50% of the world's supply of embroidery. So she made these practical, right, in embroidered apron. No scraps were thrown away. Everything was repurposed. So then it was patchwork aprons and whatnot. And that philosophy of sustainability, not throwing anything out, lives with the company today. We repurpose fabrics from 50 years ago for different things. It's also natural fabrics. We have very deep relationships with our suppliers, also many other family-owned companies. And I think in today's world where everybody owns so much, there's so much consumption, the pinnacle of sustainability is an investment in something that you're going to love today or in 20 years or in 40 years. And that's the beauty of Akris. It is an investment and it's forever modern, and things that you will enjoy in your lifetime or pass it down to someone else.
Well, of course, this conference's theme is purpose, right? Women of purpose.
Yes.
How do you lead with purpose? What is your management style, and how do you create that ethos, with the people who work with you and for you?
I think I try to find in every individual what their passion is, and then inspire the curiosity to develop that. And to replace the word fear with curiosity, because so often people are held back or pain points on the things they don't understand. I didn't ask any questions those 2 years at Neiman Marcus, and I was like trailing in my math test the entire time. But it's actually, to be vulnerable is really courage to ask questions and to create a safe space for people to learn and grow. And it goes back to that learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because as people learn and grow, that opens the door to confidence, and confidence unleashes joy. And that's whether it's from a business perspective or it's from an individual perspective, but helping people find what they're passionate about and give them the platform, the skills, the support to do their best work in a way where they feel that they can make mistakes, ask questions, flourish, change positions in the company. We have so many people that have worn many different hats. And I think that I get no greater joy than watching someone find what their passion is, their purpose is, and then watching someone develop the confidence and the joy from that. That's everything.
Well, when you celebrate your 100 years next year, what are the dominant themes going to be, both of the past and as you look forward?
I think the dominant things go back to our values, right? It's about craftsmanship and quality, the codes of the house, embroidery, all of our artist collaborations. It's the hands of the people that create the garments, that the artistic hands. It's the people of Akris. When we talk about the people of Akris, it's people who work within the company, it's people we've had relationships with for many years, business relationships, celebrating our customers. We're also looking forward. We are living now, I'm really focused on developing an omni-channel focus. The customer is moving fast, and sometimes she's moving faster than we are, and she tells us how and when and where she wants to shop, and it's our job to listen. We have a new retail store concept. We just, with Chipperfield out of Milan, that we just opened our first new store with this new store concept 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Another one will be opening on June 10th in Ginza.
I'm happy to hear you're going to make Washington women better dressed, to be honest. It's not a town known for its sartorial chic.
Oh, well, we can go there together and make that happen.
Okay, I'd like to do that. Oh, gosh. Well, Melissa, I'm a huge Akris fan, as I've said.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary next year.
Thank you.
And congratulations on a fantastically interesting journey to the top.
Thank you very much. My
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be here.